In a single 24-hour period, US and Israeli forces struck over 500 individual targets deep inside Iran. The local defense grid collapsed completely. And this was not an isolated breakdown. During Operation Sindoor, Indian jets penetrated Pakistani airspace with ease, and recently, US aircraft moved through Venezuelan skies undetected. These three nations share one critical strategic vulnerability. They all entrusted their national airspace to heavily marketed Chinese-made air defense systems. This chart ranks global arms exporters by volume. It shows China holding the position of the fourth largest exporter in the world. Their massive market share is driven by a simple pitch to developing nations, offering modern-looking defense hardware at a drastically lower price than Western competitors. China sells these systems with high-end claims. They market them as having advanced anti-stealth tracking and capabilities that rival elite Russian hardware. The specifications look flawless on a sales brochure, but the smoking craters across the Middle East show exactly what happens when those discount defenses face live fire. Modern warfare does not begin with a kinetic explosion. The first shots are fired invisibly, across the electromagnetic spectrum. Pakistan learned this during Operation Sindoor. Their military relied heavily on the Chinese-made YLC-8E radar to detect incoming Indian fighter jets. This visualizes an active electronic warfare attack, using electromagnetic energy to jam enemy networks. Indian forces flooded the spectrum. Lacking jamming resistance, the Chinese radar was overwhelmed. Its screens filled with static, blinding the entire Pakistani defense grid before a single physical weapon was deployed. Western militaries have spent decades adapting to and countering these specific electronic jamming tactics. China's domestic engineering lacks that real-world iteration. Without rigorous electronic shielding, a multi-million-dollar radar dish provides zero defense. It is simply a large metal target waiting to be destroyed. Look closely at China's HQ-9 surface-to-air missile system. Its underlying architecture is a direct, reverse-engineered imitation of this authentic Russian hardware, the S-400. China also practices strict export tiering. The Chinese military retains the fully functional, highest-grade technology for its own use, while deliberately stripping down the internal components of the units it sells abroad. Iran purchased what they were told was the upgraded HQ-9B variant. They paid for extended range and highly sensitive target seekers. When modern Western stealth aircraft actually entered Iranian airspace, those downgraded sensors failed to track them. The aircraft operated inside the threat ring completely unchallenged. Client states are paying for the visual aesthetic of military strength. When the missiles are actually needed, the internal hardware cannot perform. There is a persistent myth that a missile launcher operates entirely on its own. It cannot. This illustrates sensor fusion, combining data from satellites and long-range radars into a real-time feed that guides a missile. But buyers like Pakistan face a critical flaw. They purchased the launchers, but lack the massive satellite constellations required to feed them target coordinates. It is identical to buying a top-of-the-line smart TV for a house without a Wi-Fi connection. The hardware powers on, but receives no signal. China exports the localized launch tubes while withholding the broader sensor ecosystem. Without an advanced space program guiding them, the defense network is permanently crippled. Chinese defense systems look impressive in pristine, highly scripted military exercises and brightly lit expo halls. They have never been forced to survive a complex, unpredictable attack. Contrast that record with US and Russian air defense networks. These systems operate in hostile, chaotic environments. Grueling conflicts in Ukraine, Syria, and the Persian Gulf act as a violent testing ground. Every operational failure forces engineers to immediately patch the software and upgrade the